Hi, it's Dwyer. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. It is December 28th, 2022. Let's talk boxing. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, let's just be real here. Gervonta Davis. If you look into his past, you're going to find that there's a 2020 incident that was caught on video of him grabbing the mother of one of his kids by the throat in public. Right now, understand that video was circulated through social media. It resulted in charges being brought against Gervonta Davis. Now, Gervonta Davis, as I make this video, according to reports, has been arrested within the last few hours for another incident of domestic violence. Right now, let's be clear here. If you're going to think about one person in this situation, please make it the victim. Right? I don't care if Gervonta Davis is a celebrity or not. Right? No one should even think about him until they think about the woman involved here, as well as his prior victim. Right now, I don't have the facts. I'll just be blunt here. I don't have the facts of what happened. I simply don't know. But unless Gervonta has the perfect alibi, and that would be that he wasn't there, that it's somebody else, that he was in another city, he was in another location, he doesn't support domestic violence, he didn't do this. That's the only perfect alibi that Gervonta could have. Right? The only one. He has 3 strikes against him. Right? Just understand what they are. He is a professional fighter, so people are going to view him as having an unfair advantage in any physical altercation. Right? You're going to hear that some professional fighter was in a street fight. Oh, that raises flags out the gate. Right? He's rich. Hate to tell you this, but most people don't like rich people. And of course, he's black. Right? So Gervonta is up on it. Let's name a 4th strike. And of course, he's been caught on film previously committing violence against women, or at least one woman. Right? So let's just say, absent a perfect alibi where he's someplace else, right, where there are witnesses of him being someplace else, of him not being involved here, absent some alibi like that, right, or there are witnesses who were with him and the alleged victim, and they never saw Gervonta hit her, physically assault her in any way, shape, or form. Absent some perfect alibi, you have to assume that Gervonta Davis's head is not in the right place. If we get to the part of this incident where Gervonta is giving excuses and explanations, his head is not in the right place. And not only is his fight against Hector Luis Garcia unbettable, because that fight's in less than 2 weeks, and Gervonta Davis mentally is not prepared for it. But also Davis's fight against Ryan Garcia, high-profile fight involving 2 unbeaten fighters. is also unbettable. Because there again, Gervonta Davis's head is not in the right place. You'd be surprised about the stress fighters face when they aren't mentally ready and they have a big fight scheduled, right? Adrian Broner recently, and I'm not accusing Adrian Broner of domestic violence, but Adrian Broner recently had to cancel a fight because he felt his head was not in the right place. Ryan Garcia, who's unbeaten as I make this video, had to step away from the sport for a bit because his head was not in the right place. If a professional prize fighter is getting physically violent with women, right? One with whom he shares a child, right? A second woman on the eve of a fight, then that guy's head is not in the right place. While I think Gervonta Davis beats Hector Luis Garcia and beats Ryan Garcia, I'm not touching the fights from a betting perspective, right? Full disclosure, I think I have a bet on Davis for the Garcia fight already. Let's just say I won't be adding to it, right? This is one of those deals where, it's stopping me in my tracks, right? Full disclosure, I do handle divorces here in Silicon Valley. I've represented clients on both sides of the ledger in domestic violence cases. Someone accused of domestic violence, a victim of domestic violence, victims of domestic violence, right? I'm just telling you, you need to take this seriously. Now, I know this is boxing. Let's be upfront, right? We've had a heavyweight champ who actually had a fight with a cop, right? We've had one of the all-time great middleweight champions actually commit murder, right? Boxing has an interesting history. I understand we're forgiving in boxing. This is where people turn their lives around and, go forward. When I was a kid, I remember watching James Hard Rock Green, and that fight was televised by a network from prison because Green was in prison at the time the fight took place. Right? I understand in boxing, we're forgiving. We believe in second and third chances. Right? I'm just here to tell you that in a situation like this, Gervonta Davis's life as he's known it might change. If you've been a financial booster, an investor, part of the promotion, a sponsor of Gervonta Davis's, you really need to ask yourself, especially since this guy appears to be, at first glance, a repeat offender, right? We'll let the investigation take place. We'll get the facts. Maybe Davis is going to say, look, I was in New York City at the time. Maybe some brother who looked like me did the wrong thing wherever this event's supposed to have occurred, but it wasn't me, right? Maybe he has the airtight alibi. But if he doesn't, and if we get to the excuses and explanations part, right? Well, she came at me and, I had a little bit too much to drink or whatever, right? If we get to that part, this is an existentialist threat to Gervonta Davis's career. He's going to lose fans. He's going to lose a lot of financial backing. He may even lose his network, right? Understand, a lot of these contracts have behavioral clauses in them, right? None of us want to support guys who are hitting women and making a pattern of it, right? Again, Gervonta Davis is already caught on film with his hands on a woman, right? This is not the first incident involving him. So to the gamblers, if we're going to just get real about not making bad investments, just know I'm staying away from the next two Gervonta Davis fights. You mean to tell me that this brother on the eve of a televised match is getting involved in domestic violence incidences or an incident, right? After already having been caught on film being violent with a woman, right? If those are the facts, this brother's career is in jeopardy. Period. That's how I see it. I'm not touching Gervonta's next two fights. I would not be surprised if one or both of them get canceled. Right? View this seriously. Right? This is a crisis right now. Let's hear what he has to say. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.